Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm feeling a little fancy. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Well, thank you so much for being here. Today, I am talking about a story. When I saw it, I immediately thought, that's what I think would be happening. Because we remember what came out in the Vanity Fair article about Meghan potentially or allegedly shopping a book around post-divorce from Harry. Can you imagine what this did to Harry reading this? And now there's all these articles coming out to say, that's not true. She was never doing that. But you can imagine someone like Harry being the one who's going to be divorced from, and Meghan trying to sell a book because of her divorce. Harry is spitting angry right now, upset, and he is beside himself. Folks, I'm telling you, this story makes so much sense. And that's what we're talking about today. Let's get into it. So we all remember when the Vanity Fair article came out, it was saying these things about Meghan and her bullying. And towards the end of the article, it talked about this post-divorce book that they're saying that Meghan had been shopping around to publishers because she's trying to find, well, how can I make the most money? How can I get the money that I need to make? And these are some ideas that were put out there. I mean, it makes so much sense because you're trying to sell ideas. You're trying to sell your way to making a lot of money. And of course, you're going to think, well, what if I got divorced from my husband? I wonder how much that book would sell for. And so it just got out, allegedly. It makes sense that Meghan would do something like this. So, yeah, you hear it and you think that's just in line with what we would anticipate happening. Well, this story that has come out now by Scarlett O'Toole really sets the tone for what is happening. However, the whole idea that this is something that would align with what we would think is going on in this marriage, this is what makes this story so fascinating. Okay, so this is what the article says. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's divorce rumors are taking a toll on their marriage. Because I can tell you right now, if I found out that my husband was potentially shopping a book around about how much money he could make if we got divorced, I'd be spitting mad. I'd be so mad I couldn't see straight. I'd go blind temporarily. I would be so mad and angry. What? You out shopping a book around if we get divorced? Oh, okay, now I really know what you're like. Like, so much is revealed from that you can imagine all kind of problems have happened since that came out in Vanity Fair. And the other thing is the fact that this came out and now there are all these PR stories that saying Meghan is explaining the allegation that she was shop around a post-divorce book to Harry is absurd. Like, you're seeing the pushback in the PR. You are literally seeing all the articles come out to try to debunk this. That's how you know, could that be true? Why are you fighting so much? Why are you trying to say that never happened? You know, and the fact that someone like Harry would take offense to it lets you everything you need to know that, yeah, this is something that he believes she could do because he's on to her behavior by now. He quite understands the kind of person she is and that this could be something that she would have done. This is why it looks like he's really upset about this. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So Harry and Meghan, they have put on a defiant front amid increasing split speculation. But one source has suggested that it has taken a toll. I can imagine it has. Now, it has been reported that the Duchess of Sussex has held talks with an unnamed publishing house to see if they would be interested in a post-divorce book. Folks, I just read this and I just like, yeah, yeah, she would do that. Yeah, she would. It's in line with her character. It's kind of like when you would watch the show.
Then let us play the What Comes Next game!
Sesame Street and they would show you, okay, what is the next step in this pattern? And you would see the pattern and you would think, oh, a square, a triangle, a circle, then another square, another triangle, circle's next. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, yep, she would shop a book around. $500 says she would shop a book around post-divorce. Yes, she would. That just makes so much sense. Now, so this book says this source suggested that the book would be about their split if it were to happen. Now, here is what I want you to think about. We remember all the allegations around the filming and the photos that Meghan took when she was still in the royal household. I mean, this woman filmed the engagement to her husband. Who would be thinking of filming that? Meghan from day one, I believe, has been filming everything and documenting. She even talked about her diary journals from being in the royal family. She documented everything because there was always this intention of trying to make money off of this marriage when it did not work out. Because we know Meghan has not let her first marriage work out, where there seemed to be no issue. But she had it in her. She had it in her that this was not going to be a forever marriage. Thus, having the photos from the marriage burned. Like there was a whole manipulation around the first marriage that we can clearly see in a pattern that would be for the next marriage. Harry. I mean, Harry, go look at the marriage of Meghan's first marriage, or second, they say, to find out what your future is going to be. Your future is already written out in the stars of what you see happening or has happened with Meghan's first marriage. That's all he needs to know. Now, this source is also claiming that Meghan wanted to gauge interest. Does that make sense? Oh, yes, folks, it makes so much sense. I'm sure she wanted to gauge interest in how much money she would be getting, because I can tell you that would dictate whether or not it was even worth staying in the marriage. Well, if I do my calculations correctly and if I stay in this marriage, I could make potentially this much money if we get such and such deals. Well, considering that our deals are not going too well, the post-divorce calculation of a book would cost me or would yield me this much in money, doing the calculations. It's just like ding, ding, ding. Oh, yeah, that's a good option. Because I'm going to tell you right now, oh yeah, that would be a good option. We would read that book. I know I would read that book. So that would be a book that would be so interesting. And this is the other thing, people. Get this. If the last thing that you did that was successful was when you slammed on the royal family, when you, and even Harry's book Spare, like these were the things that gave you a lot of money. But the things that you did that were around creativity and that were just focused on other things like the bench. So you're going to be tempted by a book like this because you haven't had a lot of successes. And that can be very deflating. That could be very self-esteem deflating and bruising of who you are. When you have such high expectations of yourself and these things don't pan out, then of course it's very tempting to write that book because the dollar signs are just humongous. But unfortunately, it would mean the end of your marriage. But hey, we know Meghan doesn't have a problem with that. So after Meghan, this source is saying that Meghan gauged the interest of writing this book. Another source has suggested the constant speculation has left fans wondering what's real and what's not. And saying that Meghan and Harry, they're not happy. I can tell you right now, my husband wouldn't be happy if I heard of him writing a book like that. I'm not happy, and he surely is not going to be happy. We're going to both be miserable. And I'm sure that's what's happening right now. Now, Harry is definitely obsessed, they say, with Meghan, this source. However, they told In Touch magazine that the rumors would give any husband cause to worry. Oh, yes, Harry, you best be worrying. This is your future. I mean, imagine how Harry is feeling. Imagine how he is looking at Meghan's side eye. Or with the side eye after that article came out. Can you explain this Vanity Fair article? Like, I'm sure he's like wondering all day long looking at her. Like, yeah, tell me about that article. And she's trying to put out as much PR as possible to combat the rumors. But this constant questioning about the state of their marriage are bound to take a toll, says the source. Now, another source has told the publication that the Duke of Sussex was blindsided by reports of Meghan's divorce book. It's completely out of left field, they added. And I would push back on this because I would say, you know, Harry, it wouldn't have been out of left field had you had your eyeballs opened, had you been paying attention. You just had your eyes closed the whole time, thinking in a way that's not very good for your future because you didn't want to see the signs that were right there in your face. He should not have been blindsided. He should have been blindsided when she walked down that aisle in a white dress. You know, that's where the red flag should have been all up for Harry when he saw her coming down the aisle in that white dress with that train and that veil. Like, really, for real, Meghan, you gonna come down looking like that, like a virgin bride? No, that right there was your red flag, but you missed it. You went and said, I do anyway. Okay, so those close to Harry believe exploring a post-divorce book doesn't make sense as the pair are happily married. Adding according to this source, Meghan has reportedly now been trying to reassure her husband. Oh, I bet she is. Honey, that's not true. It's not true. Can you imagine what is happening in that household? Y'all, I'm telling you right now, Meghan is probably sweating bullets trying to tell Harry it's not true. And knowing in her head it is. But Meghan is convinced that Harry sees he's in this for keeps, but that the pressure that these claims have put on them has been intense. Once again, they're having to defend themselves and their relationship, says this source. Now, in recent reports from Vanity Fair, Meghan's divorce book was alleged to be about the aftermath of her potential split from Harry, as opposed to her first husband with Trevor Ingleson. Meghan and Trevor, we know, married in 2011, and they got divorced in 2014. Now, sources told the publication that Meghan's book meeting did not imply she is actually divorcing Harry. Instead, they insist that it was simply just to see if the publisher would be theoretically interested. That's all, honey. I just wanted to see if they would be interested. I'm not going to divorce you yet. You know, I mean, come on, you can't try to ration that kind of talking point. It just doesn't work. Now, the publisher reportedly never made an offer. Yeah, never made an offer because the offer was so big that he didn't have to say. He just said, fill in the blank of the check. That's why he never made an offer. That's what I think. Now, Harry and Meghan have remained defiant amid the speculation, and the Duke of Sussex has previously hit back at divorce rumors during, we know, his appearance on the Deal Book Publishing or Deal Book Summit when he was asked about it. But even then, he didn't deny it. He skated around that. That really showed you that, yeah, you know it's true. Because there was no defiant, no, we're not getting divorced. It was just all skating around what the trolls want to see, but not really denying it, which is a clear indication that there is something going on around divorce or thoughts around not being together. Because if you're happily married, if you are really together, how does something like this even become a talking point? Unless there is a there. It doesn't even become part of the equation if you're happily married. So the whole fact that this has become one of the talking points about Harry and Meghan's relationship, it really shows me that there is something there. So the mere fact that Harry hasn't really denied it it makes so much sense that Meghan would do something like this and it would cause problems within this marriage. It aligns with everything. And it's just one of those things that piles on top of all the other problems around their whole life in Hollywood right now. I mean, everything is just crumbling apart. It can't be good for the marriage. It is really one of those things where you just wish that they would just do something and just leave, just act like you just never even became royals, or at least for Meghan. Harry, I don't know what you need to do. You need to just go back to being a real prince. I think that's his only hope. And Meghan, yeah, I think she's doing something to resort to being more hermit-like because she just can't seem to win. And that's true because she just doesn't have the personality that's going to really allow her to win. And that's another story for another day. But, you know, this story makes so much sense to me. I feel like there is so much happening with this couple that they can't be doing well. This is proof that they're more than likely not doing well. It's a shame. It is such a shame. But it makes sense, too. And that's a shame, too. All right, everybody. That's all I got to say. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.